for show.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Hardin Local. Phil Tull. This is the first of 7 interviews today leading up to the May 19th primary. I'm joined by Stacy Reynolds, who's running in the Republican primary for Hardin County Magistrate District 6, a 3-way race that also includes Jason Buckles, who you'll hear from on Wednesday, and then Nicholas Simpson. Before we bring Stacy and a quick group thank you to our 2 sponsors today, the Plumbing Doctor and Omni Design Group, both Hardin County businesses helping us bring these interviews to you. More on both in a minute. Stacy, thanks for being here.
How you doing, Phil? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing good. Every candidate in this race will get the same questions, same order, same time limits. So we'll jump in.
All right.
Let's get to it. The intro is, explain to people, and you have 90 seconds on this one, what office are you running for and why this office specifically?
I'm running for magistrate in District 6. That's the south end of the county, basically. It does include Valley Creek Road, the Roanoke, Red Mill Road, around the country club, but it's basically Glendale, Sonora, Upton on top of that. And I'll be honest, I've kind of had a calling to be more involved over the years. I just wanted to be more prepared to do the job, to do it well. 4 years ago, I really thought about doing it, and the time wasn't quite right for me. So from that point on, I told myself I was going to prepare myself to do it this time around. And so I've kind of had that in mind. And for the last 4 years, I've put a lot of effort into getting myself ready.
Okay. So was there anything that happened in your life that led you to run? You said it was kind of a calling.
Yeah, it's kind of been a calling even when I was younger. I think being involved in the community here. I've run small businesses here in the county for over 25 years. And it was basically business to business type businesses. And so I've got to work with hundreds, if not thousands, of small businesses in this area and in the local region. And when you do that and you work with the different organizations and you work with some of the local government officials, you kind of learn the ins and outs of county governments, city governments. And so it just became a calling that I felt like, you know, I wanted to do my share. I wanted to give back to the community that basically has been my home my whole life.
What in your background most prepares you to run for this magistrate seat?
Oh, it's definitely the small business experience. You know, I feel like small business is the backbone of most communities. And if you're a small business owner, then you wear many, many hats. And I've worn many hats over the years. You learn to work with other people. You learn to manage people. You learn to manage resources. You work with lean budgets. And, you know, you pinch pennies and you stretch dollars every chance you can. And I think that sets me up well for county government. Those are the things that I think will make you a good magistrate, to look at every tax dollar that we spend and to scrutinize it, because I think that's what we deserve. We deserve to have an efficient government that gets the most out of our tax dollars, and then government officials that can come to the table and work together for the betterment of the entire county.
All right. If voters only remember one thing about why they should pick you based on this interview, What is it?
If it's one thing, I guess it's my work ethic. I've basically been working most of my life. I have a work ethic that is just kind of on another level. It's just what I do. I feel like anything worth doing is worth doing well. And I'll be honest, ever since I filed to run for this office, I've put a larger amount of work toward learning the position, going to every county meeting that I could go to, talking to department heads, talking to the current magistrates and the judge, and trying to get working relationships with as many of those people as I can, and to learn as much as I can about the issues and the policies and the budgets. And so yeah, I should know that I'm going to, this is just the way I'm wired. You know, some people fish, some people hunt, some people golf. My hobby is working, and I know that sounds boring. It sounds, I don't know, it's just odd, but I do. My wife will tell you, I work a lot, and when I'm not working, I'm usually reading or listening to podcasts, trying to become better and more efficient at working. So it's just kind of the way I'm wired. So if you remember just one thing, I want you to know that I'm going to put a lot into this position, a lot in this. I take it very seriously, and if you put your trust in me and vote for me, then I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you don't regret that decision.
All right. Let's take a quick break to pay the bills. Today's election coverage is brought to you in part by the Plumbing Doctor, a family-owned Hardin County plumbing company run by Glenn and Tracy, right here in Elizabethtown. Over 20 years serving Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Fort Knox, and Hodgenville, fully licensed, insured, 24/7 emergency service, and a 10% labor discount for military, first responders, and seniors. Look, showing up to vote on May 19th is one way you can take care of me or your community. Another way is calling your neighbor who owns a plumbing business when your water heater goes out. And when your pipes go out, call local, call 765-PLUM. That's PLUM. That's 765-PLUM, the Plumbing Doctor. Experienced, reliable, and affordable. All right, Stacy, let's get back to it. The first 90 days, what's the first concrete thing you'd like to do when you're in office?
Oh, first, I'm going to be honest. I think the first thing I'm going to do, and it's going to seem massively big, is really push to try to develop a long-term economic development plan for Hardin County. And that's big because you've got to work with so many different people. You've got to work with the judge's office, the other magistrates. There are a lot of different pieces to that. But that plan's got to have infrastructure improvements, such as sanitary, sewer, emergency service, water line improvements, and just a long-term roadmap for Hardin County. But it's not a simple or easy thing, but I think we need to get started on it immediately so that we can reap the benefits down the road quicker. And because of the BlueOval and that impact that's had on our community, I feel like we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, but we've got some time to try to play catch up here. And so I think having those discussions and bringing different people to the table to have those discussions and try to flesh out that plan, I think that's really, really important for the future of Hardin County, and it's something that I'll push for from day one.
Is your campaign self-funded, donor-funded, or is it a mix?
It's a mix. So it's basically more self-funded, but I do have, friends and family that have contributed to the campaign.
If anybody's interested in learning more about your campaign, where can they learn about
the best place is definitely my Facebook page. And if you search for Stacy Reynolds for Magistrate District 6, you'll see my campaign page, and I'll keep that running. So if I'm lucky enough to get elected, I'll keep that running. I like to share out information on it. I try to post as much local information on it that I feel like is pertinent, specifically for District 6, but also across Hardin County. It amazes me when I'm talking to people how uninformed some people really are. So as I've talked to people and they've asked me questions, I'm like, you know what? I've got that information. I'll share it on Facebook. Go look at Facebook for me. And I get a lot of feedback on that stuff. So it tells, for some reason, it's not really reaching the citizens of Hardin County on, well. So I'll keep putting it out there. And that's one thing I intend to do. If I do get elected, I'm going to keep them well informed.
Okay, yeah, and I tagged your page in the comments of this live.
I also have a website, which is www.stacyreynolds.com, and I'll put information on it too, but everything on it you'll find on that Facebook page.
Okay, I'll add that to it here shortly as well. All right, let's take another quick break. Before we get into the magistrate-specific questions, a big thank you to our second sponsor today, Omni Design Group. Omni is a second-generation builder based right here in Elizabethtown. Josh Branningham and Corey Jewell, born and raised in Hardin County, with deep family and business roots in the county. They handle new construction and remodeling across residential and light commercial, any size home, any size reno. No project is too big, no renovation is too small, and no idea is too out of the ordinary. If you've got a build, a remodel, or an outside-the-box project rattling around in your head, call or text Corey at Omni Design Group, 270-769-8339. That's 270-769-8339. Corey at Omni Design Group, locally owned, locally built, custom thinking. All right, let's get into these race-specific questions, which you'll have 2 minutes on each. And if you want to like use more time on one and take away some of the time on the other, you can do that too. But I'll keep track of these because they're the ones that most people usually go over on. A magistrate is one of 8 members of the Hardin County Physical Court, and legally you only have power when the court is in session. In plain language, how do you describe the job to a voter who's never been to a physical court meeting? What can a magistrate actually do, and what can a magistrate not do?
Oh, okay. So basically, we're voting on policy, and most of it's introduced through the judge executive. But one magistrate doesn't have a whole lot of control. And, there are 8 magistrates and 1 judge exec, and so there has to be a lot of cooperation across the court in order to get things done. But I think, in my opinion, most of what a magistrate does is behind the scenes. And if you've gone to any of these committee meetings, that's where the discussions take place. I know those are going to be aired from now on, and I think that's a good change, so citizens can see what's going on behind the scenes. But I think it goes even further than that. I think there are meetings with department heads that need to take place, meetings with other agencies across the county, and I'm thinking like the Industrial Foundation and Lincoln Trail Ed District. There's so many different pieces that come together that do things for county government and provide services for the county that find funding for the county. And so I think a lot of what a magistrate does or should do is you've got to meet with individuals that are in these agencies, and you've got to talk about plans and ideas and see what they're doing in other areas. And really, the research I do now, I've looked at Warren County a lot because they've tackled some of the countywide fire protection services that we're talking about here in Hardin County, and they've got 2 to 3 year head start on that. And I like looking at their plan. It's not really an apples to apples comparison with Hardin County, but there's a lot of similarities, and I think we can get some good ideas. Okay, so I think that's it. I think you work behind the scenes, you do a lot of research, you talk to a lot of people, and then you bring ideas to the table.
That sounds like a pretty informative answer for that question. The next one's on the budget. Hardin County's 25-26 budget is just under $60 million. Judge Tall's original proposal, that includes after revisions from Judge Tall's original proposal. If you're elected magistrate, how do you approach that budget? Are there specific line items you push to grow, protect, or cut? And how do you make those trade-offs publicly so residents can follow along? So you can answer any part of that. It's 2 questions. It's basically like, how do you approach the budget? And then how do you determine what the public wants?
Right. So I'm going to approach it like I do small business and small business budgets. And that I want as lean a budget as I can. And I want to eliminate any expenses. I want to make sure that we are running as efficiently as we can. And so to approach the county budget, I want to see each one of these department budgets. I want to scrutinize every single tax dollar that we are allocating. Every dollar you save over here, you could spend on improvement in services and pay and things of that nature over here. So if you're overspending here and you're not as efficient here, then these services you can't provide as higher quality of services as the county needs. And there are a lot of discussions right now about emergency service. Now we need additional funds for the emergency services. Well, I'd like to be a little more scrutinizing on the current budget. And that's one thing that I want to see all the line items. And I think there's some departments that operate very leanly, very efficiently. And for instance, I think the county clerk's office has done a great job, and Brian Smith's done a great job there as our county clerk, improving services and decreasing his budget. And I would like to see us have countywide culture of working efficiently and saving tax dollars. And right now, I don't know that that's necessarily the case across every department. But I think that's very important. We have to scrutinize every dollar that we spend right now. And if we're going to improve service and we want to add fire protection and we want to add pay raises, because I feel like we're behind we're behind on some of these pay raises right now, then we either need to find more revenue or we need to cut expenses elsewhere. And I think we can do a little bit of both without raising taxes. And I think that's important. I don't want us to have to raise taxes to pay for some things.
The roads and infrastructure is the next question. So, Hardin County Road Department maintains about 568 miles of road, county roads. And in 2024, I think they paved something around 33 miles and did 4 miles of chip seal, something around that. And they're moving towards a published pavement and bridge management plan. How should a magistrate engage with the road department, both for countywide planning and for specific road concerns when residents in your district?
I'm glad you asked this question because I feel like when we talk about infrastructure, I feel like the roads have been neglected a little bit. The people that I talk to, especially in my area, there are a lot of roads that we've got a lot more traffic on, and they're not very well maintained. We have poor shoulders. And I know there's a new rating system in place for every road throughout the county. And one of my first thoughts is I want to see those ratings for every road in my district. And I want to, okay, what's the worst rated road? And I want to know what they are. So when I talk to these people in my district, I can say, you know what, you're right. Your road, you got the worst road in the county. And we need to throw some money at it and see if we can't do those improvements. But we've got to have discussions with the road department to find out ways that we can stretch dollars and try to get more roads paved in that regard. And I don't know if that's, contracts with suppliers. I don't know if that's with personnel. I know there's funds available through state and federal government, and we've been lucky to get some of those from the state in this last budget cycle. But I think we're way behind on our road maintenance, and there's a lot of things that need to take place. That is not my dog.
It's mine. But, did you have more to say on that, or are you done?
Well, and that goes back to an economic development plan. If you've got a plan in place and you're saying, hey, we're going to develop these areas of the county, I think you throw in the road maintenance as part of it. And you say, okay, there's some roads that we develop and we're throwing a lot more traffic on it, but then we're not improving the roads. So we've got even more traffic on roads that aren't very well maintained. So I think as part of that economic plan, you've got to include the road maintenance part of it. And
all right, perfect ending on that one. On time wise, so you're doing good. Question 11: district advocacy versus countywide response. This one will be 2 more questions left, so this is the second to last one. Every magistrate is elected by one district, but votes on policy for the whole county. How do you balance fighting for the specific needs of your district, whether that's a road, drainage, or zoning request, with your responsibility to do what's best for all of Hardin County? Yeah,
well, you definitely serve the district. You know your district's needs in and out. Your thought on what's needed mirror a lot of the people in your district, just because that's where you are. That's where you see people, you intermingle with more people in your district than you do there. So I think it's natural to have a better idea of what the needs are in your district than maybe countywide. But as a magistrate, you've got to make decisions that benefit the entire county. And I think as long as your mindset is that it's Hardin County first, you've got to do what's best for the county as a whole. And as long as you approach those decisions that way, there's going to be a district, just like in White Mills, they needed emergency services worse than the other districts. They had a bigger need, and so it made sense to invest in emergency services there first because the need was just bigger. Does that mean we don't need improved services elsewhere? No, it just means the need was greater there, and they made the decision to invest first. And that makes sense, and that's the way you have to tackle it. You have to do what's best on the county-wide scale. And if it benefits the county, then it benefits all of us.
All right, cool. You got 30 extra seconds you can add on to this last question.
Okay.
So you have 2.5 minutes for the last question. The physical. I always get messed up when I say physical court. The physical court has physical. Yeah. It's just there's more emphasis on that F than usually.
We're not working out, but yeah.
Yeah. Right. has 8
Yeah.
magistrates plus the judge executive, the county attorney, the county clerk as non-voting members.
Right.
A lot of county businesses require all those offices plus the cities, there's the school board, the sheriffs to work together. How do you see the magistrate's role in building those working relationships, especially when you disagree with other elected officials on substance?
Yeah, well, let's get one thing straight. We're not going to always agree on things, and if you've got 9 people in there, 8 magistrates and a judge executive that agrees on everything, then you probably need somebody else in there. Just to be honest, you need a checks and balances. So it's okay to not agree on natural, and I think that's healthy. But you do have to learn to work together, and you'll have to trade off some things and say, okay, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I understand where you're coming from, and I know that, as long as you're putting Hardin County first, then okay, maybe we need to do things differently. But I've been going to every meeting I can go to right now, countywide, and ever since I filed, and this is one reason, everybody who I may potentially work with. So I talk to most of the candidates. I talk to the sitting magistrates. I talk to the judge exec. I'll talk to department heads. And that's why I go to these committee meetings, because I want to see them. I want to talk to them. I want to learn their tendencies, things that make them tick, and, what's important to them, because, I'm hoping I'm going to be working with these people, and a majority of them anyway. And so I think building those relationships early is extremely important. And I hope to keep a healthy working relationship across all those departments and the other magistrates and the judge's office, because if you're working together for the good of the county, we're going to get a lot more done, and we're going to get better things done. And sometimes I feel like there's not a lot of progress being made right now, because there's not a lot of cooperation, and that's kind of sad. I hate to see that. But it's something that we've really got to put a lot of effort into going forward.
Okay. Well, Stacy, thank you for your time. I'm going to let you close out, but I really appreciate you sitting us down. For viewers, okay, if you missed where Stacy said voters can learn more, you can check the comments of this post. You can also go to the website that we have up. That's you can go to hardinlocal.com. You can find that link. It's at the very top, Hardin County Elections. You'll be able to learn more there. I'll be putting out an edited version of this too for Stacy, of this video. We'll also be keeping the live streams archived. Facebook only lets us keep them up for a month, but after that, I'll have a downloaded copy if anybody ever wants to request the live stream version again. They'll be there. But go ahead, Stacy. Take 90 seconds to 2 minutes to close up.
I guess I'm just going to summarize kind of some of what we've already talked about, and some items that I've shared on Facebook. And I just want everybody to know that if you will put your trust in me and give me your vote on May 19th, then I'll do everything I can to earn that trust and earn that vote. And I'm going to work hard for you and for all of Hardin County. My campaign slogan is Hardin County First, and that's why I've said that a couple of times. And that means, putting our citizens first, our employees with the county, because I think, there are a number of people, paramedics come to mind that deserve a higher rate of pay, and we need to be competitive with other agencies across the state, or we're going to lose good people. And that's been the case a little bit. But and then fiscal responsibility with our tax dollars. I think any government official, you can't spend frivolously. You have to scrutinize every dollar spent. And I think we owe that to the tax to be that way. And it may make things difficult with some department heads and things of that nature. But again, I just think that's part of the job. That's what we have to do. That works the way we want it to, that we focus on development in the areas that make sense, that we protect our farmland, but that we grow the tax base so that we don't have to increase the tax rate. Because let's face it, we all pay enough taxes as it is. We need improved services, but the lazy politician likes to do those tax increases to pay for that stuff. But I think there's just other ways to do it, and it requires a lot more effort. And but that's okay. Effort's fine. Like I said, anything worth doing is worth doing well. And I'm not afraid of working for it, and I'm not afraid of putting the time in. So if you'll pull the lever and check that box for Stacy Reynolds on May 19th, I'm going to do everything I can to make you feel good about that choice.
All right. One more thank you to today's sponsors, the Plumbing Doctor at 765 Plum. Again, that's 765 Plum for 24/7 Hardin County Plumbing, and Omni Design Group. Call or text Corey at Omni Design Group 270-769-8339 for your next build, remodel, or custom project. This interview, like I said, will stay archived on our Facebook page until they take it down, and then I'll have backed up copies of the live stream if you need to request them or you want them to check against the edits, which the edits are very minimal. We're not going to change the meaning. But share this with anybody voting on May 19th. And up next at 2:45, Robin Greery, also running in the Republican primary for magistrate in District 7. So stick around, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Thank you for joining.
Hey, Phil, thank you for having me, okay?
You're welcome.